You are listening to the Life in Alignment podcast, and this is your host and coach, Naphtali Anderson. And today's episode is called Unlocking True Purpose, the driving force behind powerful men. So relax your mind and enjoy the show. All right, so let's get started. So I run a coaching program. It's called the Revolutionized Life, and just recently opened up the doors again, getting a few people in the beta program because we just completely changed everything of how we ran the program and just added a lot more valuable tools and other things and such. But the four things that are the core of what we try to establish in every man's life, right, are power, peace, purpose, and people. Okay, we try to teach men how to show up powerfully, right, as leaders, not just in work, but in their personal lives, right, to show up with that confidence. Teach men how to have a sense of peace, right, that inner peace, so that as the world is in chaos and such, how do they stay in a place where they can handle situations, that they can think clearly, so they can make good decisions that align with their bigger goals and their bigger visions in life, right? And speaking of that is the next one. How do we connect men to a bigger purpose, right? That drives them, that gives them fulfillment, so they feel like there's a meaning when they wake up every single morning, right? That there's purpose and there is a deeper value to some of the crap that they may go through some of the struggle, through some of the pain, yet that it actually has meaning and purpose for it. And so it's not something that breaks them down, but it actually turns into something that builds them up, right? And then from living in that authentic space, right? Showing up more powerfully, more authentic, with boundaries, understanding what's important to them, showing up with that peace so they don't get easily rattled, and knowing that they have a purpose and a driving direction that they're clear on. How do they now connect with the people in their lives from this different space? How do they show up as leaders and lead a team, right? Lead a company, lead a business, or just lead their family, right? Connecting all that together. That's really the core of what we want men to walk away with when they work with us. And so today we will focus on purpose. And why is purpose so important for men is really the question today. Why is purpose so important for men? I would dare to say that purpose is really the driving force for men. You know, Viktor Frankl, who survived the Nazi camps for like about 3 years, and he wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. If you haven't read it, definitely check it out. It's a great book. And he said that life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by a lack of meaning and purpose. Okay. And I think that he has a little clout to be able to say something like this because he was in, those concentration camps for so long. He lost his whole family in that place, and he watched what would make people survive. And he would know ahead of time when people would actually die, because he would see just the purpose and the meaning of the vision in their life just disappear. And he saw that energy leave them. And soon after, those people didn't survive. Purpose was really the only thing that kept him alive, according to his own story. So men can survive any type of obstacle if their purpose is big enough. The challenge that I found in my own life is I tried to make my purpose something that I thought it should be. Okay, I found this to really be a problem because, you listen to maybe all the gurus, you listen to mentors, even you listen to these people that have maybe things that you want in life. And, I thought I needed this, have this big materialistic vision, the money, the cars, the fancy houses. I even made like a vision board, right, with all the cool stuff that I could find, right? The nicest car that I wanted to drive, the house that was nice and fancy, the vacations and all those things. And it was nice. It was nice, even inspiring, but it was not powerful enough to push me right through the hard times, the things that it would take to actually get those things. It didn't have enough drive for me to push. So then it was like, I know that I'm not a materialistic type of person. So I'm going to make my purpose my kids. I'll do all these things for my kids and create this bigger, grand life for them. And it's going to be awesome. And they'll be my driving force, my fire. And that was cool. And it created some motivation. It did. But still, it was not enough to really push me, to really push my limits. Right? I had to find something that truly motivated me. Right? All those things were important to me. They still are. I still want to experience all those things. I still love my kids and I would do anything for them. But for me, what I found that drove me to push each day is I personally wanted to see what I was made of, right? I want to experience all that God created me to be. Okay, this is something that pushes me to test my body, right? This is why I stay fit. Okay, this is why I try to see what else I can possibly do. This is why I get so impressed with people that have so much body control and say, okay, you know what? I wonder if my body can do that. This is why I grow spiritually. This is why I read the Bible and different spiritual texts to try to understand who I am holistically. Okay, I want to see the type of impact that I can make in this world. These are the things that drive me, that get me to show up every single day, that get me to try to improve every single day. Those other things are beautiful things. But for me personally, that wasn't enough of a purpose to push me to my limits. So when you think of people like Simon Sinek, right, and his message, Start with the Why. Again, another great book. Check it out if you haven't. And the why, right, aka your driving purpose, it has to be big enough to push you through all the obstacles that will come, because obstacles will always come. There's going to be days you do not feel like showing up. There's going to be days that you're frustrated. There's going to be days you're just plain old tired. When your purpose is properly aligned, it gives you energy and excites you for the day. When your purpose is meaningful to you, when you see progress in it, like it just re-energizes you. It lights you up. You know what I mean? You just get that fire inside just to keep going, to keep pushing. And the thing is that you don't have to share your core purpose with anyone, because honestly, you may feel that, some people won't understand that core purpose, and honestly, if you're sensitive to judgment, definitely don't share it, because people may deter you from it and say that that purpose is not good, is not good enough, is not noble enough, or whatever it may be, right? Selfish, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, you have to find a reason to wake up each morning. You have to find your own reason to create bigger and better for yourself and the ones that you influence. You have to find meaning so that the challenges of life do not defeat you mentally. This is a big part of the mental game. Like, honest, this is not really optional. It's not. Okay, because the only other option is that you only see life as suffering, hard work, and pain. And that's mixed in a pot of emptiness and is left on the burner for too long. So the short version of that is eventually it just stinks and you get burnt out. That's the only other option. You don't get burnt out by the things that you're doing. You get burnt out by the lack of meaning within the things that you're doing, or the lack of meaning and purpose that you have just in your life in general. Because energy comes from within you. That's why people can be exhausted after a long day of work, but then their friends ask to go to the bar or go play golf, and all of a sudden they have a new wind and they're so energized to go. All right, it had nothing to do with them being physically tired. They were just emotionally, mentally drained. Right? But that purpose keys into that energy center. But you have to start small. I don't want you sitting there putting so much pressure on yourself to try to come up with this amazing purpose that completely lights your butt on fire right now. Especially if you're just starting with this. Start small. Sit down with some paper, something to write with, and just figure out what means anything to you. And just start there. It may just be your kids. It may just be that you want to, start a savings account. It may just be just something small. It doesn't matter what it is. Just figure out something that actually means something to you and start there. Just don't stop there, right? Keep working at it. Keep listening to yourself. Find your deeper truth. Start listening to what's actually going on inside. Start thinking of things that actually make you happy. Work on your self-awareness. Listening to this podcast, reading some of those books that I even mentioned earlier, and start to appreciate yourself and your why. Okay, your purpose will start to unravel. And if it doesn't, in all honesty, just pick something. Just pick something. And everything else will start aligning. Okay, your bigger purpose will start aligning if you just give yourself a target. And again, it may end up being something very simple. Right? You may just want to be the best dad in the world for your child. You may just want to be the best floor sweeper that your job has seen. You may just want to feel like at the end of the day, when you put your head down on your pillow, that you gave your all. The biggest thing that matters, the only thing that matters is how it makes you feel inside. So only you can measure that. So start connecting your life to purpose, something that drives you. And so lastly, before I wrap this up, again, I'm now accepting applications into the beta coaching program, but I'm only letting 5 people in. So I'm being very selective about who gets into this beta program because it's going to shape how I continue to build this program. So if you are interested, send me an email. It's in the description, but it's also Naphtali@naphtalianderson.com. Just hit it with a subject line, beta, BETA, and I'll send you the info on application. But until next time, this is Naphtali signing out, and I wish you be blessed.